All right, guys. Hey, Jeff here. I just wanted to give you a lowdown on a super cool, powerful combination, and it's going to be involving bringing portable refrigeration to the back of your truck, and sustainable, long-term, not temporary, but if you're on a camping trip, an absolute long-term solution to having refrigeration on your truck. And so let's go over. It's going to start with this portable refrigerator, 2-compartment. As you can see, it's got both compartments here, super deep. They make different sizes, but super deep that side and a shallow one this way. And it's only shallow because right here is where all the guts are. The compressor, the electronics, and all that are right there. So it does segment it a little bit. But anyway, this guy is 100% portable. You can see it comes with these this telescoping, what would you call that? An arm, some kind of handle, I would say. A handle that telescopes in and out of the way, and it allows you to wheel this thing around on these rugged, heavy-duty outdoor style wheels. So it makes moving this thing around super easy, and 100% customizable depending on what it is that you're taking. Now, I just loaded this full of some bottled waters and some sodas just so you can get an idea of the size of this one, because even this is the smaller unit that they sell, but it's super robust. So it's going to show you here my temperature inside of the larger, and that's how it distinguishes it. You've got large and small, so not left and right, not front and back, large and small. You cannot mix that up. The large compartment right now is temping at 46 degrees. The small one's temping at 12. So I'm able to adjust that. I've got it set at 0, and out here in Arizona, it's roughly about 100 degrees right now. So here in the shade, easily keeping that well below freezing. And then as you can see, that's already dropped from the 46 that we started at to 45. So it's drying itself down. A couple of different modes. It allows you to switch that to the flashing green, which is an economy mode, or back to your white, which is max. To get it cooled down, obviously you'd want to do that. So anyway, this thing, super rugged, super solid built. You can see you got metal handles. This is all metal connections here with a heavy duty spring to have that pull itself out of the way. Bottle openers here. You can tie on straps and things like that if you want to strap things on this. It's got all kinds of features, well thought out of, and then a lockable. Nothing you have to do to lock it, but you can see that's not going to accidentally open until you pull on that, and that's how you open these. So anyway, a super solid thing. Well, the key to making this thing work is to have the power, and you can see I've got this plugged in using just this is a 110 outlet converting itself down to 12 volt, and you can plug that in here. But come on over here, let's check this part of it out. All right, guys, so here's how we are supplying the power for this. And this is a homemade build. I hope you check out my channel. You'll see how I created this solar panel, truck-mounted solar panel with a homemade inverter here. And this one is a 2,500 watt output. I've got a 100 amp hour lithium battery inside of this with a battery monitor on here. We're going to talk about this in just a second, but this is what is supplying the power to this. Now, one of the things I failed to mention, go ahead and get real close to this. That's the extent of the noise. You can barely hear a hum. It's slightly about the same of what you'd expect to hear on your residential refrigerator in that. But anyway, that's what's powering this, is going to be our 100 amp hour, which is charged and recharged daily through the solar power, and we'll get up and show you that in a second. And then converted from your 100 amp hour battery into your AC output. Right here I've got this 2,500 watt inverter, and this is showing me that my battery's reading at 13.2 volts, and you can kind of compare that with what's right here. You can see right here it is showing that we are at, well, I can't see it in this light. Yeah, that's 12.7, so a little disparity between the two. It's always good to have two different ways to confirm what it is going on with your battery, because that's going to help kind of identify where you have, maybe gremlins or things like that. But if you get real close on this, you can see that I have the battery charged up to 100%, And right now, so that's showing you 99.3% amp hours on board on our battery right now. And at the current draw, it's showing you right now that it's taking 7.5 amps and only 95 watts. That's all this little refrigerator is drawing, is just 7 amps, shy of 8 amps. And that's on the max mode, mind you, and only 95 watts. And because of that, this little battery monitor is telling me I can run this right now with, for 13 plus hours without having to worry about recharging that battery. So that's going to give me 13 hours of refrigeration in the max mode. So anyway, that's pretty solid, because you're going to get a ton of time. Now, a couple of tips if you want to make sure you maximize this is obviously don't leave it on the max power. You want to switch that over to economy, but then make sure the things that you put in here are already cooled down. Obviously taking something from 100 degrees and cooling it down is always a tough challenge for any refrigerator. So don't take the one that you're trying to run off the sun out here and try to cool things down. Can it do it? It absolutely can do it, but you just don't want to have to do it. And case in point, you can see this is already down to 43 degrees. We started at 46 when we started this video. It's already dropped 3 degrees. So that's telling me that this thing is working. So, all right, so right here, if you can kind of look, I don't know what your angle's gonna be, but I have this Renergy 100 watt flexible panel. And the thing that you'll notice is that from the ground, you can't even see this. It's a little dusty right now, it gets that way in Arizona. But I've got this mounted to a Pioneer, a Pioneer platform system from Rhino Rack. And it has a couple of different attachments that are basically just friction-wise squeezing this panel to the Rhino Pioneer, the Pioneer platform Rhino Rack. So it's squeezing that down on there. I've got it wired going down through the cap of my truck, just using your standard RV type of putty to seal up the hole that I cut for that. But in the shade here, obviously we're underneath some trees right now. We're not going to be generating a lot of electricity. So depending on where you are battery wise, how you park your truck's going to make a big difference on whether you're recharging your batteries up or not. But this truck mounted system, I did show a video on this on my channel, so please check that out to show you the complete build of how I put this all together. It's been on my truck for a couple years now. Been through a number of car washes. I could go through another car wash today probably, but it's been through a number of car washes, all kinds of road trips, all kinds of conditions, storms, monsoons, haboobs, you name it. And this thing is staying on there super, super tight. So a really, really convenient way. Now, 100 watt panel is not going to generate a ton of electricity, but it does keep that 100 amp hour battery completely charged, ready for me to use at a moment's notice. Whether that's on the job site where I just need to run a couple of power tools, charge up a couple of my 18-volt batteries, or even run some camping equipment, lighting, you name it. It just creates an absolute off-the-grid just a knock it out of the park off-the-grid addition to the truck. So anyway, let's go back down here and talk about it for a second. All right, so you can see, back up here in the shade, if I wanted to, and maybe we ought to do that. Maybe I ought to pull the truck back out into the sun so you can see this number going up or down. But, just in the time that we've been doing this video, that's dropped from 99.3 down to 98.8. So it is drawing it. Now, it went from 7.5 amps to only a 5 amp draw, which tells me it's hit temperature somewhere. The compressor is no longer drawing or looking for power. So that's going to extend the life. When this number goes down here, and you can see that because look, we went from 13 hours now to 17 hours of runtime. So all of that makes a big difference, but this is just an absolute killer combo. I think you would agree this is a killer combo to be able to provide this portable portable refrigeration without ice, without having to worry about all the melting ice, and just tons and tons of storage area and compartments here and that. So anyway, killer combo, guys. Hey, listen, if you like the content, please be sure to share it. Most importantly, share it with people who have similar mindsets, looking for projects and builds like this. Because I promise you, you'll be the coolest guy on the block if you can show up with a truck-mounted solar generator that's running anything. We've done movies out in the desert. You name it, we've done it, because this is their job site thing too, being able to show up and run vacuums and run drills and saws and blenders and you name it. So anyway, killer combo. If you like the content, please share it. But also subscribe and like and comment. Tell me what you think about this, and if you have a way to improve it, maybe share that with us too. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time on The Lowdown.